Hello, this is the third time we've tried to film this video. Outside there is too much wind and too many flies.
If you've been to the York Peninsula in South Australia, you'll understand.
If you are new to the channel, Rach and I are currently travelling around Australia. We have been on the road for 3 and a bit months now.
Almost 3.5.
Yeah. And in this video, we are going to run through 10 things we wish we knew before starting our lap. So if you are planning your lap or you're thinking about doing the big lap of Australia, this is the perfect video for you. Keep watching until the end of the video because we're going to talk about our setup, which we recently changed. Let's jump into it. Starting off with number 1, and that is to do with water. Specifically drinking water.
It's a big one. It's life-saving.
Yeah, it is life-saving. A lot of the stuff on the lap, which we'll run through in a little bit, you can, get by with, kind of workarounds and stuff. But water, you need good drinking water. So a bit of a story time. We were crossing the border, weren't we, from Victoria into South Australia. It was a really small town. Was it called Nelson?
Nelson.
Yeah, and there they don't actually have mains water. So I filled up the tank with our water tank with bore water, which apparently you can't actually drink, and I drank half a litre and felt pretty sick. Before Rach tasted it, we realised we can't drink this. We had to pack up the camper, drive to town, actually we went to McDonald's, had dinner, got some water from Woolworths, and then came back to camp. So luckily we weren't too remote. If we were more remote, that could have been quite dangerous. We only had one source of water as well, which was our main water tank.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
We were rookies at the time, to be fair.
Yeah, now we're a bit more experienced.
Yeah.
Now we carry a spare drinking water as like an emergency water. And because we're in South Australia, we actually purchase the boxes of water in the car, in the ute. But not all tap water is drinking water here. So yeah, I really wish I knew before we left about water.
Yeah, the importance of not just relying on your water tank, because anything can happen to the water tank. It can get contaminated with anything, not just bore water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or your main tank could crack, it could leak, you could lose your water.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a reserve. So I would recommend buying a water filter as well. We still don't have one.
I know, we recommend it, but we haven't got it.
We should probably
but we will do that.
We should probably watch this video after we finish filming it. And yeah, I think BCF do a pretty good one. We're going to go there and get ours because, again, buying stuff on the road can be challenging. We'll get into that. And yeah, also another thing I think around water is a way to track how much water you're using.
Yeah.
So our previous setup didn't have a water tank reader, so you sort of had to guess how much water you had left.
Yeah, like if the tank sounded a bit sketchy, then we're like, okay, I think we're coming to the end now.
You could use gravity, I guess, to see, because there's a hose coming out of it, but yeah, it's not ideal. No. So I've seen I saw on Facebook actually, there is something which can calculate the water going in and then the water you use, which you put on the tap, which is quite cool. But on our camper, we have a measuring...
like a gauge.
A gauge, yeah. Measuring gauge.
Yeah.
So, gauge is super useful. Okay, so number 2 on the list is, let's just have a chat about power. Because this is something we didn't consider, really, before we left. Which is a little bit...
We didn't know.
Yeah, we just didn't know.
Yeah.
So if you are watching this, and we're not qualified electricians.
We're not experts.
Yeah, we're not experts, but we have a general idea now. So what I mean by power is, we're talking your battery setup, solar, and charging. That's kind of what I want to chat about. So first of all, it would be, what are you going to be powering? So are you going to be powering laptops, which we are, cameras, phones, and laptops?
Yeah, like if you're just going with a fridge and that's what
and
you're powering, you don't really have to worry too much. But because we're powering lots more, this is why we've changed what we're doing.
So that's like kind of 5 main things we power.
But that pulls a lot of power as well. That needs a lot of charge.
Yeah. And you can work out how many amp hours you need by doing those calculations. The other big factor is if you're doing induction cooking, I would say that's probably depends on how many amp hours you need, which is how big the battery is. So we have had a camper with AGM, and we've had 2 campers with lithium. Lithium is lighter. You also get more from your battery because you can't let AGM go below 50%. So you can't let it run down. So if you have a 100-hour AGM battery, you can only use 50% of that. So you have 50 hours.
Otherwise, it starts to damage the battery. Just to clarify.
Yeah, true. That's right. Otherwise, it starts to damage the battery. If you have lithium, then you can go down to 0. You don't want to do that because you have to jump start it.
But you can go down very low.
And you can do like 2,000 cycles. So it's quite incredible, lithium, and it saves a lot of weight. And it's, so far we switched out the battery in this camper. It was an AGM battery. It went down to 0 or went flat. We tested it out and it lasted like a day or 2.
Yeah, it just died. So we wanted to make the switch to lithium anyway, but that was just a good catalyst to make that happen.
And luckily, the DC-DC charger, I'll run into charging in a second, was compatible with lithium. So we had to press a few buttons and now it charges when we drive. So it works really, really well. Talking of charging, so a little bit of story time. We've had 3 slide-on campers and we've only been traveling for 3.5 months. But the previous one we had
the first one
over a year ago.
Yeah.
Actually, it was too heavy for our ute and we were going back to Europe, so we sold it. And the second one, so on that first camper, we had everything, including all the charging systems you could think of. So shore power is a really interesting one. That's if you need to plug your camper into the mains when you get to a caravan park. It does have its advantages because you can use appliances when you're at a caravan park, like an air fryer or anything which needs an inverter. This camper didn't have shore power, and it's made me realise you don't have to have shore power, especially if you're not going to stay in caravan parks. And we don't really enjoy staying in caravan parks, do we? No. We don't have shore power, and we haven't had to need it. So we have a DC-DC charger, which basically means you can plug your ute into the camper, so via an Anderson plug. Then when you're driving, the alternator passes charge back. The charger is very clever. We have an Enerdrive DC-DC charger. I think it's a 40 plus charger, which means it can put in 40 amps into the battery, and you can increase that, I think, to 50 or 60. But we're doing 40 at the minute. But it basically means like you can charge your battery in a couple of hours of driving from 0 to 100%.
And it is clever because it won't ever drain the car battery. It has that inbuilt.
It has like a BMS kind of inbuilt where it can not pull as much charge if the car battery is struggling. Yeah, it's very, very, very clever. Way above my head.
Again, we're not experts.
Yeah, we're not auto electricians. This is our experience.
Yeah. But with those with those few main things, so your DC to DC charger and a solar blanket, which we'll probably get into in a second, we've found we don't actually need shore power because the car is doing most of the charging while we drive, which we do a lot of, obviously, when you're driving around Australia. And then you have like your solar blanket to top up when you're sitting idle for a day or 2. And with those 2, golden.
100%. If you have solar on the roof, I would say that's the
Even
best.
better.
I would really recommend doing that if you can. Again, we didn't plan this build, so we didn't have solar on the roof. It is capable of that, but we just plug the blanket in as Rach said if we're still for a couple of days. So that's keep it simple.
Power.
You don't have to have mains, but depending on the devices you're going to run, if you need an inverter, if you need shore power, then obviously get it. Would you get shore power if we were to order a Tommy brand new?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Oh wow.
What I would get is I would keep the DC to DC. I'd get solar panel on the roof, like a 200 or 400 watt solar panel, and then we wouldn't need it. Would you get it?
No, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard though, isn't it, when you look at the sheet? But probably not as well because
It was like an
it's
extra
about
like $3,000.
it was $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, no.
And we don't plug into caravan parks.
I would rather not have it as a deterrent to not go to caravan parks.
That's a good point.
Do you know what I mean? Because we don't want to go there.
Yeah, we don't want to go there.
We don't want to rely on doing that.
I'd probably get like a good inverter built into the car.
Yeah.
And maybe 200 hours lithium.
Yeah.
400 of
solar.
400 solar on the roof.
Yeah.
But you'd be great. So
it's just saying like you don't have to have shore power. Like if you are in the planning phases of your big lap, you find a cool setup that you really like, but it doesn't have mains power or shore power, don't panic. Like it's actually fine. Because I think had we seen this before we knew and we had our first setup, we'd probably be like, oh no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
We'd be
We
like,
have to
oh,
have shore power.
yeah, because that's, I think, what a lot of people think, and you just don't.
You don't. So, yeah, I wish we knew that before we started. Great tip. And yeah, depends on how you travel as well. We're we're pretty transient.
Yes.
So we're driving like every day, especially with the Tommy. You can just pull the roof down and go.
We don't really like to stay in one place for too long.
The ute charging it is just brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you stay somewhere,
But then you just put a blanket out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, we don't think you need shore power, but yes, it is all obviously subjective to how you like to travel.
I think we've spoken enough about power.
Let's move on.
Yeah, the power's in your hands. Number 3 is milestones.
What do you mean by that, George?
What do I mean by that? So when you're on a hike, you are not looking at each step, you're just looking at your milestones. And I think you should think the same principles to your lap.
Yeah.
You can't plan every day, but also...
I was just going to say, when we first started the lap, we did kind of what a lot of people do. You see it all on YouTube and you see everyone going, oh, just wing it. Just go with no plan and just, go where the sun takes you, which is an amazing way to do it. And if you can do it like that, all the power to you, love that. That's not really us, and we found that out pretty quickly. We were just going wherever and didn't really have a plan. We didn't really know where we were headed. We were going where the sun took us, but we had no purpose.
No, yeah.
We didn't really know what we were trying to actually do.
I think a lot of people out there, especially if you've come from the same as us, like a 9-to-5 environment, a routine, some sort of destination to what you're doing each day, I think milestones and just to elaborate a bit on that, it's basically saying like, hey, we're going to be in Perth by this date. Yeah, we're going to be in Adelaide by this date, Perth by this date. And it's not to mean you have to be there by those dates. No. And our plans have already changed 2 or 3 times.
Much, yeah.
But
how good did it feel
that,
when we got Freeform on our iPhones? It's literally a simple app.
Oh yeah, it's a cool app.
Drew the map of Australia, very roughly.
Oh, I thought I did a great job.
Yeah. And then we're just like, okay, well, here we are. We started in Sydney on this date. Where do we want to be, roughly? So that we knew it's not just an extended amount of time forever. And that works for some people.
Really
if you want to go out and just go, there is no time frame and we just want to do whatever we do and wing it, that is amazing. But for us, we felt very overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a big country.
Like a couple of weeks in, we were like, what are we actually even doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? We say that even now sometimes, like, what are we doing? So having those milestones, or I guess those anchor points, you could even call them, and saying,
anchor
Perth
points,
by
milestones,
this date, blah, 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 just gave us some sort of like the why, or like,
and the how.
The how, and Otherwise, because
also,
if you do just wing it every day, I don't know. Again, if you come from like a corporate background like we have, that routine or like that why helps. But then also that could go the other way, right? If you've come out of that, you might be like, nah, I want nothing to do with that. I just want to wing it every day.
And we've met heaps of people, who are just winging it.
And that's honestly,
and that's
if you
great.
Can do that, I love
amazing.
that for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I find that so fascinating because I just think that's amazing, not needing to worry about or think about where you're going to be. I love that. But for us, I think we just got very overwhelmed very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal, but hopefully that helps you because I think, before we left, we wish we knew that, but we figured it out on the road. Because
you also, I don't know, I feel like, and I don't know if this will resonate with other people if they're in their planning stages, but when you see everyone else doing this lap and they're like, yeah, just wing it, just do whatever, there's almost like you feel this pressure that you also need to be that easy breezy and that just, we'll just go with whatever and we don't want to plan it because we seem like, boring people that want to plan everything. Because there is this like pressure that if you're going to do it to like, be so easy breezy.
100%.
But if that doesn't work for you, that's okay. And you can do something different if you don't want to be like that, you know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think I put it as a point later on, but there isn't one way to do the lap either.
No.
So do it to how you want to do it. We'll talk about that in a bit. With the milestones, a couple other points. It helps with seasons in Australia. We don't want to be in near Broome or the Northern Territories when it's wet season. We're in a camper, so it's just going to be pretty tough.
And I've heard of people doing it, and it's like, it is what it is, but for us, like, we just want to actually follow the sun.
Follow the sun.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we send that to friends and family, so if anyone wants to fly out and see us, you know roughly where we're going to be. So, yeah.
I just think it's beneficial,
Milestones.
but it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Number 4 is online shopping, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the
This is a weird one.
yeah, it's a bit of a curveball.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's spoken about it. Maybe because we winged it a bit too much to get going, and we just got back from Europe, just bought a camper and just hit the road. And honestly, that is a good way to do it.
Yeah, you don't
But
think too much about it all.
if there is something you need online, order it before you go. It's just so much easier to have an address.
Yeah. Yeah, we've really struggled.
Yeah, we
with
struggled
that.
to. I had to buy a camera, and I got that sent to a post office. It delayed our trip, like to do the Great Ocean Road. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So you can definitely buy stuff in the stores, and that's what we do. Like JB Hi-Fi for tech.
Yeah.
JB Hi-Fi, Bunnings, BCF.
Yeah.
Super cheap auto. They pretty much are.
That way you spend most of your time.
Yeah, where you spend most of your time.
But little things, like if you're used to buying stuff off Amazon, like we normally do, like plates and bowls and cutlery and stuff like that.
Because that is just easier.
Have all that stuff before you go if you can. I mean, you can get it stuff from Kmart and that, but it's just little things you just can't get as easily.
And I think the big things as well. Any like big purchases, like we swapped out campers on the road as well.
That's a big one.
That's quite challenging, let's say the least, and you need a lot of trust in a lot of different people. So yeah, it can be done. Like everything can be done. I'm just saying this is the point. If you are thinking about getting something for the lap, probably get it before you go.
Yeah.
If it's really essential to you, because buying stuff on the road can be done. It's just a bit more challenging.
Harder.
Yeah, but there are shops everywhere. Like we haven't been without a shop yet. Like as in terms of like a BCF, probably within a few hour drive.
Yeah.
Because we've been sticking nearest the coastline.
Yeah.
So yeah, just those bigger things.
Just an FYI.
Yep. Cool. So number 5 on the list is to find a hobby and stick to some sort of routine.
Which is hard on the road, let me tell you.
Really hard. It's very hard when you switch campers as well.
Yeah.
We've had a bit of a unscheduled week. 2 weeks probably. How long have we had the camper for? 10 days?
Yeah, I think it's delayed us or just kind of rocked us a bit for at least about 2 or 3 weeks. Which has really slowed us down, yeah.
But I think definitely having a hobby, like you can't just travel around and hang out at the beach. Well, we couldn't anyway.
Yeah, like if you can, amazing, but
that's great, but
you might go a little bit crazy if you do nothing.
Yeah, if you do absolutely nothing. So it could be anything from reading to, I don't know, puzzles, like gaming, writing.
Yeah.
We have YouTube and Instagram, so we run that. That takes up pretty much any free time or any free time we have.
And exercise. I think for me, like having such a good exercise routine when I was home, then trying to like emulate that while on the road has been tough. Like sometimes we're just out doing things or the weather's bad so I can't get out and like do Pilates next to the camper or whatever it is. So that's been a little bit of a struggle, but I would say even if you have like a couple of days where you're out of routine, or you think, oh no, just stuff it, we're just doing that. Just try and keep some sort of routine with exercise if you can, because for mental health, I think that is massive.
Yeah.
I find if I have a week off because we've been doing whatever, I feel like I start to go a little bit crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely.
George can attest to that.
Nah, well, yeah. For me, it's running, and that's the only reason I like staying at caravan parks, because I go for a run and have a shower.
Yeah.
So that's quite nice.
Like running's a good one. Like my ankles are shot, but if you can do running's a fantastic one. You can do it anywhere.
Running and skipping are probably the best we found for us cardio.
Yep.
And long walks.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can do like press ups, sit ups. Rach has like loads of bands and stuff.
Yeah, like if you enjoy Pilates, you can download a whole heap of stuff off YouTube so you can have it offline, and then just have a mat and you're literally good to go.
Oh, I get flooring as well for working out.
Yes.
Kings do a really great cheap flooring. So I think it's 4-wheel drive Supercenter, but any
it's
Kings
3 meters by
stockist.
3 meters. It's massive.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who stocks Kings, I think Mitre 10 stock Kings as well. But yeah. Number 6 is check weather apps regularly.
Yeah. Because it kind of like, I mean, especially as an example, we're in South Australia at the minute in the York Peninsula, And if you've been here, like I said at the start, it is windy.
It's windy.
It is windy. And like, it's fine. You can still get out and walk and do things. Obviously in the wind, it's fine. But we have planned our beach days, especially around the wind. So when there's no wind, we'll go and spend a lovely day at the beach. So we're not getting whipped in the face by sand. And then on the windy days, we'll go and do like a walk or something where we don't mind being like that. And then you can also plan on where you want to stay, because we stayed at a campsite that was really sheltered on a day that we knew that was going to be really windy.
Yep.
As opposed to coming, right on the coastline where it's really exposed and getting smashed. So, yeah.
Yeah, just being smart with it. Like yesterday it was super windy. We swam with dolphins.
Oh,
Sure.
just low key.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, because there are some amazing videos. Like yesterday we swam with dolphins, and tomorrow we're going to a beautiful beach, and there's no wind tomorrow. So
again, we check the wind, and we
plan around it.
We're now going to one of the most famous beaches in South Australia tomorrow, because it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
We can drive on the beach. Stay tuned for that.
And that's a great plug. And that's why we're inside right now, because it's windy, there are flies, the sun's too strong, the wind's coming from this way and the sun's coming from this way, so you can't win.
No, and we tried to sit outside, and you had about 10 flies sitting
on
just
your
on your
face. So, and also your setup, we're going to talk about that, keep watching, because that's going to come up, but your setup has to be weatherproof and deal with wind, deal with rain, deal with the heat. Australia can be,
cruel mistress.
Yeah, the weather in Australia can change, and it can be quite extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending where you go.
We have literally seen it all in the few
We've seen
months.
rainstorms, windstorms, 44-degree days, and your setup is your home, so you want somewhere where it's safe and easy, and easy to set up, comfortable, and it can deal with the weather. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So number 7, which is, over to Rach for number 7.
Oh, it's one of my specialties.
Yeah.
It's joining Facebook groups. So I first started doing this before we went to New Zealand at the start of last year. I think it was like New Zealand Travellers or something was the first group I ever joined. And we got so many good tips on where to go, things to see that weren't on your usual itineraries that you would see. And same with stuff that we've seen in Australia already. Places like on the Great Ocean Road that we would never have known unless we'd joined these groups. You can ask really good questions and get answers straight back. Like we've joined one for the Enna Drive, DC to DC.
Yeah, that was a good one. And we didn't even post on there. We just read all the previous...
all the threads.
Like,
and then we could figure out what to do for our particular situation. It was amazing.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable to post on the groups, you can use the search function and just search whatever you... Like, we searched... DC, and then we literally figured out what the settings to do from just reading the group.
Because most likely someone has already asked the question that you have, like unless it's a
100%.
very, very unique question.
You can post anonymously. Yeah, you can search as well.
Yeah, they're just great. I've literally found
They're
so
awesome.
much helpful, useful information on Facebook.
But I did put a note here just to say, like, it's, there are a lot of opinions on social media, just like any social media.
Don't take it as gospel. Take everything with a pinch of salt. And like, I find, like, reading these threads, some people can be very judgmental on other people's
about setups
or
style
or budget,
route you're doing,
anything.
Like, ignore that. Do what you need to do, but take the good bits from the group.
Yeah, take bits of what you need, and then don't worry about the rest.
Make the decision on your own.
Yeah.
But groups are great, but it's very to take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong way to do the big lap of Australia. It's really down to what you want to do, how you want to travel. It might be completely different to someone else, and they might have an opinion. Enjoy the groups, but a lot of good information. But just
pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt. Number 8 is you won't need as much stuff as you think.
I feel like this one is aimed at me.
No, it's also aimed at me as well. Like,
I brought too much stuff.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty minimalist, but I have 2 pairs of jeans in there, and I haven't worn one.
I don't see a need. I have a pair of jeans as well. I don't know why we brought them. When are we going to wear jeans?
But this is like absolutely everything I have.
So ridiculous.
In terms of clothes.
Yeah.
Is in this like one half-size drawer. Rach got a full-size drawer. And everything is in that one drawer.
Yeah.
So I have 2 pairs of jeans. Haven't worn either. I got a shirt in there. I'm never going to wear that.
I bought like a couple of like really uncomfortable dresses, like denim dresses. Like, when am I going to wear that when it's 40 degrees?
It's
Like,
hot.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
And then when it's cold, we just wear like jackets and
Active
joggers and
wear.
active wear because it's too cold to wear anything.
Like,
so,
yeah.
um,
Really
yeah.
try and think, I guess.
especially clothes.
Try and fit, if you can fit everything in that you're going to wear into a backpack, that is what I would recommend. If you
That's a good tip.
That's what I would actually
Yeah.
do, because if I was doing this again, like, I already want to send stuff back. I've been wanting to send stuff back since like pretty much day one to mum and dad, because I just have too much stuff and you don't need it. You're not going to wear it. And most people just wear the same thing again and again anyway. Like, and no one cares. And like, even if you do wear the same thing for, you know, a couple of days, it's on the big lap. It's traveling. It doesn't matter, you know.
What size backpack?
Not a big one.
40 litres?
No, just like a little baby one.
Oh, all your clothes are there?
That's fine.
Oh, right.
I don't know what kind of backpack. I was just trying to be helpful.
No, I think that's a really good tip.
Yeah.
I'd say,
I'm just talking about
if
clothes.
you pack into carry-on, I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah, if you pack
Yes.
into carry-on suitcase or backpack.
Yeah, like toiletries
Yeah.
and stuff can be different. Like, I've obviously got shampoo
Yeah.
and conditioner and yada yada. But clothes, I think you just don't need that much.
And I think we travel pretty light,
Yeah.
to be fair. So, yeah, especially clothes. Like, obviously, like, you know, food and water and stuff, you need to bring an adequate amount, and spare parts and tools. But, yeah, I think really think twice about every item you want to bring.
Yeah.
It
It
and you
sounds.
can probably halve it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it might sound silly, but if you've ever seen Marie Kondo,
She's pretty good.
she's great.
Yeah,
and
she's amazing.
What you can do is, when you're packing, sit with each bit of clothing
Yeah.
and really sit with it. And does it spark joy?
Yeah.
Is that something you're really going to wear every single day? And if yes, pack it. If not, you go, oh, I don't know. You know, then I might
it
be
at home.
thinking, yeah, just bring it for the sake of it. Leave it.
Yeah.
You can always buy stuff on the road as well.
Yeah. There are shops everywhere.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, and so if something is important to you, like, I'm not saying not bring anything, like my guitar I bought.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I got my guitar. I play it every now and again. Probably play it like 2 or 3 times. Once a month.
But it's something that you
It's
really
something I really
enjoy
enjoy
doing.
bringing.
Yeah.
And then when I get it out and you're on a beach somewhere, you're like, just so grateful you have a guitar. So
Yeah, it's just a relaxing thing for
if
you
it
as well.
means something to you,
Yeah,
then
do it.
do it. But it all adds onto your weight as well and
Yeah.
space. So be careful of that as well. Number 9 is all about your setup. And what I mean by that is, if you're new to camping, is your camping setup. So what vehicle are you going to be driving in, and then what camper or tent are you going to be sleeping in?
Or caravan,
Yeah.
or swag, or camper trailer, or slide-on camper.
There are
There
so
are so
many
many different
ways
ones.
to do it. So you can have probably a 4-wheel drive and a caravan are the most common.
We've seen a lot of caravans, a lot.
I'd say that's probably like a hybrid caravan, which can go off-road as well. I'd say they're probably like the most common, but you don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a brand new one.
And this is the
Yeah.
thing as well, and you're going to get the people who will, again, be really judgy about people's setup. And I'm telling you right now, like, if you don't have a massive budget, that's okay.
Yeah.
And don't feel like you have to be able to spend tens of thousands of dollars
Hundreds of thousands.
just to get going.
Yeah.
You just don't need to do that. You can literally, we've seen a couple of people in their car with a tent.
With a tent.
If you want it that badly and you want to go out and see Australia and that's all you've got, that's great.
That's great.
And like, all the power to you, honestly. But there's this, like, I think this pressure again that you need to have the best setup and all the bells and whistles, and you need to have this and that, and like, I'm just going to call it out, like a troopy.
Oh yeah, I mean, troopies are nice.
They're
so, yeah.
amazing, but I'm sorry, you just don't need it.
Yeah,
It's,
you don't
know,
need it.
you don't need to
That's
be
the
part of that
ultimate.
trend, and you don't need to feel inadequate if you don't have that.
Yeah, 100%.
I just really think that's important to say, because when we were planning it, I was literally like, well, everyone's got a troopy. If we don't have a troopy, then what you know, we're not, you know.
Definitely.
It's just that feeling.
And there are so many different setups. I think it's really important to understand how you are going to travel, or the people you're with, what sort of setup time you want.
That's a big one.
If you're on the big lap of Australia, you're probably going to be traveling for at least 6 months, and you know you're going to be doing it every day. So whatever you decide to do, that is something you're going to do every day. So even if it's, I've watched other YouTubers, as simple as pulling out your bed in a caravan, think about doing that twice a day every day if you move around a lot. So
yeah.
it is really, really interesting. We have changed campers, and one of the biggest reasons was we wanted a quicker pack down and pack up solution. So we were thinking of a canopy with a tent.
Yep.
That would have also been cheaper, We were thinking of, at one point we were thinking of towing. We've been through it all because, you could buy a cheaper caravan. You can pick up caravans pretty cheap if you get like an older one. We've always loved a Tommy camper.
And just slide-on campers in general.
And slide-on campers because
the ease.
That was weird.
The ease of the setup. But for us, as we said earlier, we are very transient. We don't really like to stay in anywhere for like more than a night, I would say. It's very rare for us to do that. We have itchy feet. We like to go. That's just our style, right? And
we like to see things quickly.
We like to see things quickly, and there's no right or wrong to that. That's just how we personally like to travel.
I really, as the head chef in this ship...
I thought you were going to say relationship. I was like,
Oh, relationship. Yeah, that's good. There you go. As the head chef, I like to cook outside. So again, that's something which you'll discover as you go. It is, if you want to cook outside, you need an outside kitchen, which is, you need to make your setup easy to do stuff. If you have your kitchen inside, that's great. If you want to cook inside, outside of the flies and the mosquitoes and to be sheltered.
Which I totally get. Yeah. But for us, we found
we were sort of carrying stuff up and down the stairs. Hence why we wanted to move to a canopy and a tent.
Yeah.
It was a bit easier, or a swag. Rach didn't like it.
Got claustrophobic.
So it was interesting.
I also think as well, a really good way to find out is and we didn't really have the time to do this, but test trips. Test trips. Because we, like you said, we got back from Europe, we bought a camper, and we basically set off. But this is why the Tommy is so incredible, because we've got the ease of a very, very quick setup, set down, like 30 seconds, plus the outdoor kitchen, because you love to cook outside, and then just the access of everything. So for us, it's taken 3 campers to get it right. So that's why we're saying we're not experts, but we can really talk to the fact that if it's not right, you'll know about it and you'll need to change to make it as enjoyable as possible.
Yeah.
So to really, really think about it before you get going.
And you can change your mind. We're all human.
Yeah.
You can change your mind, you can change your setup. Yeah, so your setup, some crucial things to consider are your weight. So is it too heavy for the vehicle you're either towing or a slide-on camper on the back? Where do you want your cooking to happen? Is that inside or out? That's also another really big one.
How comfy you want your bed to be?
Oh yeah, actually I was put that down.
Yeah.
Invest in a good mattress.
If you can, if your setup allows.
We've had different mattresses in campers, and the Tommy has such a comfortable queen mattress.
I think when we first got it, we were sleeping like 10 hours. Just getting so much sleep because it was so comfortable, we couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, so
it makes a difference.
It does make a difference. So your sleep system is really important, and just the bed being made when you pop the top, that's so unbelievable.
The other thing I would say for the setup in general is how you want your access to things to be. Access.
Yeah.
Because for us, even accessing food during the day, we love that we can now open the gull wing and our kitchen is there.
Yeah.
In the morning, if we are staying somewhere quite busy, instead of ratting around trying to find my gym stuff, I can literally open the other side and grab my mat out very quietly. And it's just all very accessible, very easily. So that's just also something to consider.
So weights, setup time, access, mattress, cooking. Yeah, they're all the things to consider. But there is no perfect setup. This is probably the most perfect setup for us.
For us, yeah.
And everyone has different needs, so...
Some people might look at the slide-on camper and go, oh my God, it's so small.
Why would you...
What are you doing?
Why would you go on the back of your ute, or why aren't you towing? So... Yeah.
We get it. And
we get it.
Yeah. It's
our niche.
Yeah, we had 3 slide-ons at this point, so we kind of know what we're talking about in terms of slide-ons, but... I get that people want to have a massive amount of space in a caravan. I get it. Yeah. It's beautiful to have a big kitchen and a lovely bed, and that's awesome. And you can leave at caravan places and all that sort of stuff. But again, don't listen too much to what other people have to say if it works for you.
I think carefully about it, and maybe rent campers as well.
Yeah.
We rented camper vans. We love that. That might be a future setup.
Like
moving
a high-top Hiace.
Yeah, moving to probably not high-top, pop-top.
Oh, I love a high top. Sad. We'll discuss it later.
Maybe a high top. But yeah, now we know what's important to us because we've tried out loads of different setups. So hopefully that helps you. Might have confused you. Who knows? But yeah,
At the end of the day,
a tent to a caravan.
Yeah. Whatever works
Whatever
for
works
you.
for you.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
You don't need the latest Land Cruiser to get going, I'm telling you that now.
Well, that would be nice.
I mean, sure. Would we have one? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe in one day.
Yeah, so number 10 is around food.
It's important.
And yeah, having backup food is really important. So having some tuna, some of those pasta things.
Rice.
Extra
Extra wheat bix.
Pasta in the packet, they're really good.
Yep.
Yeah, having...
non-perishables. Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Having non-perishables, because when you're on something like Kangaroo Island or the Peninsula, they're not remote, but there aren't that many shops around. So you're going to smaller towns with a general store.
Yeah.
And
it's expensive.
It's expensive and there isn't a big range.
It's like $6 for a loaf of bread.
Yeah, so yeah, that'd be the 10th item, I would say, which I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Always have backup food, and non-perishable foods are super handy.
Because you can always chuck, like if you've got a pasta sauce and some pasta, like
throw
worst
together.
case, chuck that together and you've got a meal, like, you know.
And if I was planning for a lap, I would really consider induction cooking.
You love induction. I'm okay with gas, but I get it. I mean, you do all the cooking, so it makes sense.
I was thinking that as well. In South Australia, the wind is intense. Like when you're trying to cook in the evening and pots are literally being blown off.
We've got like the casing on this side. I'm standing on the other side trying to like block the wind from the gas.
Oh, as the gas the gas has gone out on the jet boil yesterday as well. It blew the jet boil out when we were making a coffee.
That's strong wind because that jet boil is tough.
Like we're even parking into the wind as well. So we parked our ute right. It's like coming around the side. Yeah.
It's relentless.
Yeah, it's relentless. So just look into induction.
This might be one of those times where people say, well, why don't you keep your inside cooking?
True. Yeah, and let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to, but I love cooking outside.
The feeling of being outside is really nice.
Yeah,
but
I like it.
You have to take the good with the bad, right? There's always a trade-off with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
But it is a good reason, like, what you want to change to induction.
Yeah, if you're inside, induction is essential, but if you are planning on cooking outside, look into it. Because then, if you think about that before you go, you can think about your setup, your battery setup, your charging, and then it all works. So yeah, I think it's just something nice to know.
Yeah, like right
I
now,
wish someone told me that.
We probably don't have a big enough battery setup to run induction, or
we have a big enough battery. We don't have an inverter, so we've got to find one of those and install it. But yeah, we don't.
It's all little tweaks that you can make as well. If you find that you've got gas and it's not working, you can change it, but there's just like a couple of things to sort out.
We might change. We've changed campers on the road. We can change cooking systems. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
Anything's possible.
It's a big lap.
It's the big lap. Anything's possible.
That is our saying for most things when we feel like we're going a little bit crazy and we just need to do something. We'll just say that.
I think that's most things in life, though. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Like if you want,
there's always a way.
If you want something to happen, it's and you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. So watch out for future videos where it's going to be our switch to induction and how to do it on the road.
Oh, goodness.
Right, we've been talking for a while and I hope you got value. If you've made it this far,
well done.
Into the video,
well
thank
done.
you. And well done.
Well done.
And thank you. Leave us a comment. What are your thoughts? What are your tips if you're on the lap? Or if you found any of these tips helpful, let me know which one. I think that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
And also give this video a thumbs up. Really helps the algorithm. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already.
Hit it.
Lots,
hit that button.
Yeah, subscribe because there are lots more videos coming out on this channel. There are travel tips. There is travel vlogs.
That's weird.
And I think that's it really. Yeah, travel tips and travel vlogs. A bit of tech in there, like what cameras to use when traveling and stuff as well. Yeah, is that anything else from your side, Rach?
No, I think that's enough.
Yeah? Is that everything?
I think that's everything.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, hope you enjoyed it and we'll see you in the next video.
See you then.